What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's financial data for the work week. That's right. If you're not familiar with this segment, your boy Doody used to do a service for Phil, being that he has such a terrible time tracking his money. Doody took the time to actually count all of his income, wrap it up into a lovely spreadsheet for him, and of course, shared with the internet. Now, we do several things with this. One, we hold Pig Roach accountable. Two, it allows his investors, aka Dents, to know how much money they're actually forking out to this Pig Roach. And and also it's a great little tool for detractors to continue tracking Phil's every movement. That's right. So I used to do this once a week, typically on Phil's day off, and I publish it, but it got to be cumbersome, so I decided maybe it's just best if I do it once a week. But what I look at is I look at the data in the prior week, so that way I'm not running around trying to calculate all the information, that takes up a big amount of time. So I think this way it's a bit easier. I can sit down for a good 15-20 minutes, collect all the data, put it on a spreadsheet, make sure everything's okay, calculate it, and and what makes it a little bit difficult too is that during the week our boy Phil's doing the Smarks show, so he only gets half that revenue, so I have to split that out, which is not hard, but again it takes some additional time. So hopefully I'll be able to get this done every week, and you'll have some information available. Now, this is done from this information is taken from several sources, a couple kick sources out there, Dashfire, Jay Wuzzle, a few other people who Jay Gannon, and a few other Twitter folks who track Phil's day-to-day income. And it's also information that I gather from Raw Phil stream myself. So let's get into it. So of course, like I said, we're going to be looking at the week prior and then comparing that to the week prior to that. And what we do is we look at his total tips, super chats, member subs, kick subs. Now, it's going to be a little bit weird this year because of course we know that we weren't tracking the member or kick subs last year until about October. So his income is going to look significantly more. But I'll highlight where that is offsetted with ad revenue, which is much lower, and so on. So don't feel like, oh, Phil is winning. Trust me, Phil is not winning. What you want to do is you want to compare his current month to what he did in the last 3 or 4 months. That's the best way to kind of look at Phil's information and see how he's actually doing. So yeah, I'll be putting that definitely together, and providing some commentary. So don't worry, folks. I know some people get a little bent out of shape when they think Phil is being successful. Just remember, most of this money goes to WWE Champions DoorDash anyway, and that's why Phil is essentially broke all the time. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So for the work week that spanned it from 112 to 117, our boy pulled in $632 in tips, which this is a good thing, I think. The tips have been extremely low the last 3 months, and I think what this does is it forces Phil to learn how to budget. So he gets a check or 2 checks once a month. He gets his kick check once a month, and he gets his YouTube check once a month, and it forces him to fucking budget. He can't just take his tip money and just waste it on WWE Champions, which he was doing before. So he made $632 compared to the prior week where he actually made what did he make? He made $859. So that was a net decrease of about almost $200. In super chats, Phil made $720 for the work week, and then the week after that he made $501. So it's very interesting because you guys know I'm of the belief, and it's not a belief, it's factual, that Phil is propped up by 3 or 4 whales, and it's the same whales over and over again. And what you notice is the pattern here, folks. What you see is that when the tips are low, typically the super chats are higher. And when the tips are high, the super chats are lower. And it's pretty close. As you can see here, the super chats, Phil made about $200 more in super chats than he did in the prior week. And just a coincidence, tips, he made $200 less. So again, there's no additional money coming in. It's just the dents shifting how they pay Phil, how they give Phil money. But again, it's 3 to 4 whales, and then you have a couple little smaller dolphins that come in and drop a couple bucks from time to time. Anyway, so for member subs, Phil pulled in, he managed, so he gets $3 per member sub. So let's just count it $3 on average. He made $123. Now, some people might say, well, he has some ultra supporters. That's few, and that's only a few. I don't think it's really, it doesn't really alter the income. I can't figure out how many ultra members he has, so I'm just counting it as $3 per member. So he made $123 on memberships, and then in the prior week he made $345. So again, that's a net decrease of $220 week over week. Now for kick subs, that's been lagging lately, but it's been on a slight uptick. But most of it is typically due to the PPP stuff when Ashton comes on or whatever. So for this week, or for the week in question, he made $990 on kick subs. Now that's $5 per member. So you could just divide the 990. You could divide the 990 into $5. So he got 198 gifted subs. 198 gifted subs, and of course many of those were from Iron Chef Sakai. But yeah, and even that's kind of drying up. If you take a look at his totals lately, it's just been drying up. I mean, he doesn't have Dark Side Pimp that drops any more subs. Void is gone, and for some reason Iron Chef Sakai's been MIA for about a week. I'm not sure what's going on there. Did he finally grow a pair of testicles and got tired of Phil mistreating him and he bounced again? I don't know, we'll see. So he made $990 this week, and then in the prior week, excuse me. All right, sorry about that. Let me grab the, here it is. Okay. In the prior week, he made $850. So he had a net increase of $140 week over week. Now for the grand totals for this work week, Phil managed to pull in $2,465 compared to $2,555 from the previous week. Now the discrepancy can be accounted for the Smart Guys stream, where that show just tanked. I mean, Phil barely made half of what he made the previous week. They pulled in like $250, so he gets half of that. That can account for the loss in revenue. So it looks like he's kind of settled in. He's making between $2,000 and $2,400 a week. That seems to be the average for Phil. Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes more. So if we look at it for his total for January, Phil has managed to make $6,228 so far. That's pretty low, because if you look at what he was doing the prior year, like October, November, December of 2024, for a month he would be at like $9,000 already. Now I know we still have about a week and a half, but that's a big drop there. It's not something small. The other thing too is what you want to realize is that ad revenue is half. It's just half of what Phil used to get, because right now Phil is pulling about 300 to 400,000 views a month, which is nothing. I mean, that is straight up garbage. You can get any ad revenue. On average, Phil used to get about $2,500 to $3,000 in ad revenue for YouTube. He's lucky if he gets half of that now, because his views are tanking, and he doesn't care about it, I guess, because he thinks, oh, I'm getting the money from Kick, and I'm getting the tips in the super chat, so screw the ad revenue. But what he doesn't look at is that you got to look at your income as a whole, the total amount, Phil. The total amount. That's why last year, if you compare last year, 2024 to 2023, you would have thought, oh, Phil made way more money in 2024 than he did in 2023. Not really. What I calculate, he made $125,000 in 2024, and then in 2023 he made $124,000. So he literally made like $1,000 more year over year. So, and again, that was because of ad revenue. Ad revenue dipped so much that it hurt Phil's bottom line. But we'll see. Let's continue tracking this for the year. Let's see how it goes. And then the other thing too is I'll continue tracking Phil's channel for views. We don't have the January numbers. Those numbers will be out in a week and a half. We'll post them, but these are his great channel grades. DSP Gaming is a B-, DSP Racks is a B-, and Throwback is a C+. That's right. That kind of shows the overall health of the channel based on Social Blade. Like Doody's is a B+. That's right. Shout out Doody. So yeah, and then what we'll also be tracking here is we'll be tracking the individual amounts here. So we have 2025, 2024, and then you can see here, so like, I'll give you an example. So for 2025 so far, Phil's managed to make $6,228. And then this time last year, Phil made $3,614. So, but again, remember, we weren't calculating memberships and kick wasn't a thing. So yes, the numbers look big, but if you take away the memberships and the kick money, he's actually making less. He's making less in 2025. So when you hear that the Kino arc is dead, yeah, the Kino arc is dead. And even so for 2023, as you can see, he made a total of 4,148 in 2023. And again, kick memberships weren't a thing. So if you simply just look at the tip in the super chat, he actually made more in 2023 than he has in 2025. So these are some of the things we'll be tracking. And of course, WWE Champions will definitely be tracking that. And we know that Phil so far this year spent over close to $1,500 on WWE Champions. And then last year, of course, he spent almost $42,000 on WWE Champion. So let's see if he could keep that pace. And then of course, we'll continue tracking the to-do list of Phil. Of course, these are things that Phil needs to do that he hasn't done, like the honeymoon, the zoo, the 10-year plan, the broken toilet, the broken shower. All that shit's still broken. Dishwasher's still broken. Jasper's blood work never happened. The broken light he fixed. I'll take that off because he did fix the broken light. Oops, sorry. He did manage to fix the broken light, so I'll give him credit for that. What did I do? Oh, all right. I'll figure it out. Not a big deal. Alrighty, folks. Well, that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up now. So I'll be doing this every week, and yeah, it should be interesting to see how Phil manages with his income this year, and of course how much money in WWE Champions he's going to be forking out. Because that's another thing. If you take away what he spent in WWE Champions for 2024, and you deduct that from what he made, which is $125, right? So he made $125 last year, $125,000. He spent $42,000 in WWE. He literally had $83,000 after his WWE Champions bill. After Scopely took their cut, he walked away with $8,300. And as far as I remember, in 2023, I don't think Phil spent that much on WWE Champions. It was probably like, I don't know, $20,000 or $25,000, but it definitely wasn't $42,000. That was like the most he's probably ever fucking spent on WWE Champions. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.